Hello Rough Cutters, it's Corey from Corey Brown Reviews. This is my first review on the channel. I am now the new Friday slot. Hope you guys enjoy. I wanted to kind of keep it fun since it is my first video. I didn't want to take anything like a little too seriously. So for my first review, I will be reviewing Good Burger, an all-time favorite of mine. Growing up as a kid, I loved watching this movie over and over again. And I saw this movie recently and I felt like I had to review it at some point. I didn't know when I could review, so I thought, you know what, for my first review, I'm going to review one of my favorite kid films. So Good Burger is a pretty simple story. It's about Dexter, played by Kenan Thompson. He gets let out of school and he's riding his parents' car. He gets in a wreck, and Sinbad plays his teacher who he wrecks his car. And Sinbad is like, you know, tells Dexter that you owe me like a certain amount of money. So now Dexter has to get a job. So he goes to Mondo Burger, which is like this new burger chain that has like these like huge mammoth-sized burgers. And so he's working there for a little bit. He gets fired right away. So his backup option is to go to Good Burger. And there's something that happens. Ed, played by Kel Mitchell, is the person that caused Dexter to get into the crash. And that kind of affects certain things later on in the film. But Dexter starts to work at Good Burger. Things are going well for a while, but obviously complications arise. Things become quite crazy. And if you've seen like a lot of the Nickelodeon films from the 90s, you know that things were able to be a little bit crazier. They were able to go a lot further than they are nowadays. You know, nowadays you've got parents talking about how, you know, they don't want their kids seeing certain things. But back in the day, I mean, it was kind of almost free reign. Watching this film nowadays, you're like, wow, I can't believe they actually went there. But it's kind of nice and refreshing to go back and watch a movie like this nowadays and knowing that that's how kids' movies used to be, and nowadays we get complete garbage. So this film is based off a skit that was on the show All That, created by Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider is huge over at Nickelodeon. Basically everything Nickelodeon, like all the big Nickelodeon shows that you've grown up watching as a kid, he is behind those films, like iCarly, Victorious, All That, The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh. I mean, pretty much everything, at least live action Nickelodeon, Dan Schneider is behind. He's also in the film. He's the manager of Good Burger. And so it's pretty cool to see Dan Schneider in the movie because he's always behind the scenes, so it's pretty cool to see him in this film. There really isn't too much I dislike about this film. I do think that when they go to the mental institution, it does get a little crazy and it does kind of feel separated from the rest of the film. I kind of like it when it takes place in Good Burger because I think a lot of the great comedy and drama comes from that, and also the stuff. There wasn't a lot of stuff in Mondo Burger. Mondo Burger was a really cool set piece, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that happened while they were in Mondo Burger. So I would have liked to see the whole film take place between Good Burger and Mondo Burger, but the mental institution was kind of weird. A lot of critics could look at a movie like this and say, oh, here's a flaw, here's a flaw. But in my opinion, nostalgia is something that completely almost overtakes flaws, because when something is nostalgic to you and it really means something to you, then it doesn't really matter how many flaws the film has, it still remains perfect in your eyes. But overall, I mean, this movie is complete classic. I mean, if you grew up watching Nickelodeon like I did in the 90s, you know that Good Burger is one of those like staple films that you grew up watching. And I mean, still, I want to go back and watch it again and again. It just gets better with each watch because of just that nostalgia factor. The acting is pretty solid. I mean, it's, you know, it's Nickelodeon actors. A lot of them really haven't gone too far nowadays, except for Kenan Thompson on SNL. But I really enjoy this movie. I mean, you got a lot of those great liners, like, you know, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, can I take your order? You got, you know, I'm a dude, he's a dude. You know what I mean? You got that song going on. I mean, there's so much classic stuff in this film. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen Good Burger, to see it. And if you have seen Good Burger, let me know your thoughts of it down below. So that's my review of Good Burger. It's a great nostalgic 90s kids film that I cannot highly recommend enough. It's great for the whole family. So I hope you guys like my review. This is my first one, and I'll see you guys next week.